Naruto, Unlocking Genius with 10 Skill Bars. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 101, the second mission of Team 7. After Kakashi left, third generation then thought about what Kakashi just said. Does it increase Shiyu's prestige? This is indeed a good method. Konoha now needs a new generation of monsters to rise. Originally, Konoha should not have become what it is now, but Sannin left Konoha one after another, which also made Konoha much weaker. Although Sannin still exists, and when Konoha is in danger, at least Jiraiya and Tsunade should still come back. However, the situation of Konoha's drought cannot be changed. Maybe it's time to change that. Sasuke, Naruto, Shiyu, aren't the three of us the best choice to finally change the situation? But it's not enough to increase the momentum of the three of them just by relying on the mission. Even if the performance is excellent when performing tasks, after all, 210 will not see it with his own eyes. The next Chunin exam is coming soon. After Shiyu and the others finish their mission this time, they can start preparing. Since we want to increase the reputation of the three brats of Konoha, we naturally have to make it as big as possible. But the difficulty is not small, but third generation now has Shiyu, not to mention Naruto and Sasuke. Shiyu alone has convinced third generation that no one among his peers can be Shiyu's opponent. So, he doesn't have to worry about anything. He just needs to think of ways to expand his influence this time as much as possible. Kirigakure, it seems that the blockade has been lifted, maybe it won't be difficult. As for Rock Shinobi and Cloud Shinobi, a gleam flashed in third generation's eyes. Put some smile on your face. The third generation already has a way. Although it may not be successful, you can try it. Naruto, Shikamaru, Sasuke, Shiyu, Choji, Inuzuka Kiba, Shino, Ino, Hinata, Little Sakura. How many people are having a party? This is the first party after becoming a ninja, Shikamaru said while holding the juice, and he looked at Shiyu aside. Shiyu nodded. Before, I just asked Shiyu to come out for a meal, which was considered a small dinner party, but he didn't expect that Shiyu would actually call Inuzuka Ga and the others, and even Naruto Sasuke. What's even more surprising is that little Sakura was actually called over, even though the person who came was Kaino. But Shikamaru doesn't understand what Shiyu is doing. We are ninjas from the same class. Although we were assigned to different classes after graduation, we are even different ninja types. Shiyu glanced at little Sakura. But we were classmates before, and we can be considered friends. There is still a long way to go as a ninja, and we should get together with friends from time to relieve our tense nerves. Shiyu was considered the initiator of the party and stood up to liven up the atmosphere. Although they were familiar with each other before, they were not friends yet, but Shiyu said this today. Others see nothing wrong with it. It seems perfectly fine to be friends. Ye looked at Shiyu. I heard that your 7th team has completed a special mission this time, and even the level of the mission is different. What kind of mission is it? Although Shiyu and others solved Zabuza, the news did not spread that fast, and others did not know the specific situation. Shiyu smiled at this. I don't know if I can tell you yet. If I can tell you, you will know it without me telling you, so don't ask me now. Okay, don't talk so much, let's start eating. This first cup congratulates us all on becoming real ninjas and successfully completing the first mission of ninjas. Shiyu held up the glass of juice. Others also raised their glasses. Children cannot drink alcohol. This kind of scene is unsettling for Sasuke, but the reason why Sasuke can do well here, it's because Shiyu agreed to help teach Sasuke swordsmanship. Sasuke wouldn't have nodded otherwise, but his swordsmanship is different, and even Kakashi would be ashamed of it. So Sasuke also wants to learn swordsmanship, so naturally looking for Shiyu is the best choice. A party ended with joy and laughter. Shiyu didn't expect that his first gathering with the 12 Little Strong would be such a success, but to be called the 12 Xiaoqiang, Tian, Niji, and Shaoli are still missing. It doesn't matter, Shiyu already knows Tian. You can invite this host to the next party. After the party, Shiyu will definitely go home and take a rest, but Sasuke pesters him and wants Shiyu to teach him swordsmanship as soon as possible. Shiyu was thinking about how to make Sasuke temporarily give up his plan to start practicing swordsmanship today, when Kakashi appeared, handed Shiyu 3 movie tickets. Looking at the movie ticket in his hand, Shiyu was stunned for a moment. What does this mean? Would you like us to watch a movie? Naruto was also standing there before he could leave. He couldn't help but ask when he saw what Kakashi suddenly gave Shiyu. Kakashi nodded. That's right. Would this guy be so kind as to invite the three of him to watch a movie? Shiyu doesn't believe it. Look carefully at the movie ticket in your hand. I always feel like something is wrong. This mission requires that one of the things you should do in advance is to watch the movie first. Then you go home, pack your things, and set off immediately tomorrow morning. By the way, it's best to bring some warm clothes. After saying that, Kakashi disappeared. Naruto looked confused. What kind of mission? Do you have to watch a movie to do it? Sasuke took a movie ticket from Shiyu's hand and said, just go and see it and you'll find out. Naruto also followed Sasuke's example and took one from Shiyu's hand, then go and take a look. Shiyu, who was still in a daze at the moment, had already roughly guessed it. Come to the cinema. After watching the movie, it was exactly what Shiyu thought. Fenghua Xiaoxue, is it going to be the Snow Country's mission after Zabuza? But the mission of Snow Country 4.5 starts now? Shiyu didn't know the specific time, but it should have been before Sasuke left Konoha. Coming out of the cinema, Sasuke looked at Shiyu. We have to carry out a mission tomorrow, so don't worry about the swordsmanship today. I'm going to prepare a ninja sword, and you can teach me on the way to the mission. Sasuke left quickly. Naruto was basically the same. Shiyu, I'm leaving first to prepare. I have to carry out a mission again tomorrow. Half of the training plan I made has not been completed today. With that said, he also disappeared. Shiyu was a little surprised. When did these two guys work so hard? And the reason why the two of them are so desperate is because of Shiyu's influence. Their companion is a monster. How can they be embarrassed not to seize the time to practice? Episode 102. Urgent mission to search for Shuiji. On the way home, Shiyu vaguely remembered that in the original novel, Hua Xiaoxue seemed to be on the run because she did not want to return to the land of snow. He must be being chased by a group of people led by the third doctor. However, Shiyu and the others did not encounter Fenghua Xiaoxue after they came out of the cinema. This situation made Shiyu feel a little disappointed. Shiyu also started practicing after returning home. Although it took a lot of effort to develop Yundu, you can see how hard Naruto and Sasuke worked. Shiyu can't be so leisurely anymore. The great sage is still continuing to calculate Yunden's ninjutsu. According to Shiyu's request, he is conducting 24-hour calculations. It's still early to end. Shiyu practices chakra refining techniques, and increasing the amount of chakra is still a top priority. Early the next morning, Shiyu closed the door, put on some warm clothes, and went out. Arriving at the gathering place, Shiyu was rarely on time. Naruto and Sasuke also arrived, but Kakashi never arrived. This left Shiyu 08 speechless. It is indeed unreliable Kakashi. After the three of them had waited for half an hour, even Sasuke began to become a little impatient. At this time, Kakashi's figure slowly appeared. Emergency mission. Find Fenghua Koyuki. She is the heroine of the movie you saw yesterday. She was found missing early this morning. She should be still in Konoha. Even if she is not in Konoha, she must not be too far away from Konoha. It must be found within an hour. After hearing Kakashi's words, Shiyu finally understood why Kakashi was late today. It seems that Fenghua Xiaoxue did escape yesterday, but she may not have been caught by herself and others. Shiyu smiled. Is this our mission this time? Naruto was a little confused. Why did Kakashi ask someone to prepare so many things? Now is not the time to explain this, Kakashi said directly. Anyway, you find the person first and then talk about it. Fenghua Xiaoxue disappeared. This kind of thing shouldn't be a big deal. There are so many Umbu ninjas in Konoha, but you can't even find one? Is this also a test for them? Probably not. Is Kakashi so boring that he always tests them with these things? But it's not impossible to slip away under Umbu's nose. After all, Fenghua Xiaoxue is neither a ninja nor a suspicious person. Umbu naturally doesn't pay too much attention to ordinary people. Let's get started, Kakashi urged several people. Shiyu sighed. In this case, let's divide the work and cooperate. Then he turned to look at Sasuke and Naruto. The entire Konoha can be roughly divided into three areas: the core area, the Konoha flow area, and the Konoha peripheral area. Sasuke is responsible for searching the core area, Naruto is responsible for the circulation area, and I will search the outer area. If none of the three areas are found, it means that the other party has left Konoha and needs to search outside Konoha. That will be even more difficult. Sasuke frowned. According to Shiyu's allocation method, the core area should be the smallest area. Why do you let yourself search the smallest area? Is this looking down on yourself? Shadow clone technique. Bang bang bang. In an instant, Shiyu cast shadow clone, and hundreds of Shiyu appeared at the same time. Naruto on the side quickly clapped his hands. That's right. Use shadow clone to help. Naruto also cast shadow clone, and even just looking at the number of shadow clone, Naruto's shadow clone has more numbers than Shiyu's. Is this the protagonist's talent? Naruto's chakra amount is indeed no more than Shiyu's, but it can't stand up to the physique of Naruto's Uzumaki clan. The recovery power is amazing. Even if the chakra in the body is emptied out at once, it will be restored in a blink of an eye. What's more, the opponent also has to spend chakra to suppress 9 tails, which is completely incomparable. Okay, let's start searching. Disperse. Swish, swish, swish. As Naruto and Shiyu huddled, Sasuke clenched his fists slightly. Is this why he is put in charge of the core area? Because he doesn't know shadow clone technique. These two guys have too much chakra. The search begins. At this moment, Danzo is also paying attention to the movements of Shiyu and others. Is Hiruzen trying to use the attention of big stars to make the brats in class 7 more eye-catching? But Hiruzen probably doesn't know that yet, because the star is a real princess. Danzo wouldn't have known about this if he hadn't communicated with people from Snow Country for a period of time. Originally, Danzo would not take things like this to a small country seriously. After all, what's the point of paying attention to a third-rate country that can be easily destroyed by sending a team of ninja troops? But things are different now. Hiruzen showed his weakness last time. It would be very difficult for him if Sarutobi noticed something because of this. Something must be done to divert Sarutobi's attention away from what he said that day. The way to divert Sarutobi's attention is naturally to class 7. Which Sarutobi is most concerned about now. By the way, the chakra armor from the Land of Snow might make that guy a little more interested, so you can lead this matter to the other party. Outskirts of Konoha, Shiyu is on a frantic search. At the same time, turn on thinking acceleration. In a state of accelerated thinking, Shiyu noticed at a glance that something was wrong in the crowd. Although a person's body shape and height may not match Fanghua Koyaki's appearance, in Shiyu's eyes, this disguise is too obvious, so you let yourself find it? Jumping directly into the crowd, people coming and going were startled by the sudden appearance of Shiyu, and Shiyu stood in front of an uncle, looking at him indifferently. The other party looked at Shiyu and the Konoha forehead protector on Shiyu's forehead. "You, what do you do?" As soon as he spoke, although his voice was rough, Shiyu could clearly hear the other person's real voice now. There was no doubt that the woman was not wrong. Although he was disguised, the other person's hands were not covered, and the smooth skin was obviously not that of a man. "Miss Yuki, please come back with me." Shiyu directly revealed Fanghua Koyaki's identity, and Koyaki looked at the Konoha kid in front of him in surprise. How could she be seen through at a glance when she was disguised like this? And there were so many people here, how did he find himself at a glance? "I can't hear what you are saying." Shiyu is not going to talk nonsense with Fanghua Koyaki about genjutsu. The next second, Shiyu's visual illusion is activated. Although it is only a basic visual illusion for ninjas, it can be easily used against ordinary people to make the opponent temporarily unconscious. Episode 103. Departing from the Land of Snow, skill page configuration. So our mission this time is to escort these people to other countries for filming, right? Naruto frowned and looked at the obvious person sleeping on the recliner in front of him, Fuji Kazuei. This big star was resisted by Shiyu like a dead pig. Fortunately, this woman did not leave Konoha. Otherwise it would not be so easy to find her back. The difficulty of this mission is A level, escorting an entire filming team to a foreign country for filming. Kakashi officially announced the mission. Sasuke and Naruto were stunned for a moment. A-level mission. They gave us an A-level mission. You must know that A-level tasks are already the ceiling of tasks that genin can receive. As for S-level missions, it basically depends on fate. The last time was originally a C-level mission, but because of the emergence of ninjas like Zabuza, the difficulty of the mission has actually been adjusted to A level. But now it's actually an A level mission right from the start. Haha. It seems that stinky old man from third generation finally understood how powerful we are and sent us an A level mission directly. Naruto smiled proudly. However, at this time, Sasuke on the side said calmly, "Do you think third generation thinks we are the most powerful people?" He looked at Shiyu and it was self-evident. Sasuke thought that Shiyu and Kakashi were the only two people that third generation felt were enough to take on this task. One is Konoha's long-famous elite Jonin, and the other is a monster that can easily eliminate Jonin from other villages. He and Naruto are just foils. No, we definitely can't let Shiyu be so far ahead. We must find a way to catch up with Shiyu. Even if we cannot surpass him, we must not let Shiyu lead by too much. The basic situation is like this, then I leave it to you Konoha ninjas. We have invested more money in the sequel this time and are also preparing to find more amazing scenes. The director was chattering on to the side. He was completely crazy about this shooting. Shiyu also understands that such artistic people are so crazy. Shiyu, you promised me that you would teach me swordsmanship. They are still preparing now, and we have some time. Can we start? Sasuke suddenly came to Shiyu's side and said this. And at this time Shiyu was planning to check out the new ninjutsu calculated by the great sage. But when Sasuke suddenly took out a ninja sword that was the same as the Kusanagi sword Orochimaru made for him later, Shiyu was stunned for a moment. "Where did your ninja sword come from?" Sasuke frowned. "What does it matter? I bought it at a ninja shop." As he said that, he pulled out his ninja sword. Shiyu took a look and saw that it was just an ordinary ninja sword. It wasn't that bad, and it was considered top grade among the ninja swords. Right. It is impossible for Sasuke to have any contact with Orochimaru now. Okay, come on then, Shiyu, can I take a look? Although Naruto doesn't want to learn swordsmanship, he should take a look at it to know how to deal with such an enemy. Sure. Seeing that the three of them still wanted to practice even when they were on a mission, Kakashi couldn't help but sigh that the brats of this generation seemed to work harder than his own generation. It would have been fine during the war years, but this was a time of peace, and they were still willing to work so hard. All three of them had huge potential. "Mr. Third Doctor, please tidy up. You can call us anytime you want to set off. If you want to go to the snow country from Konoha, the nearest way is of course not the land route, but the waterway. Just go from Konoha village to Takino country, and then take a boat from the port of Takino country to snow country. It will take 6 or 7 days on the road. After all, it is following the progress of the filming team, not as fast as a ninja." During this process, Shiyu took the time to teach Sasuke swordsmanship when he was on the road during the day, and Naruto often watched from the side. Shiyu practices by himself when he has free time. Of course, practice must have a goal. What Shiyu needs to do next is to continue to develop the blood succession limit to speed up the repair of the Great Sage. Currently, water style, fire style, wind style, and nature transformation have all become much stronger due to the development of blood succession limits. It stands to reason that Shiyu would be the fastest if he continues to use 3 attributes to develop blood succession limit. But now that Shiyu has mastered the 5 releases, the remaining earth style and lightning style can't be left alone. Anyway, this mission is still long, and the nature transformation of these 2 escape techniques will have to be strengthened sooner or later. So taking advantage of his free time, Shiyu began to practice the nature transformation of these 2 escape techniques. The passive skill bar has also changed again. Passive skills 1 to 3, chakra refining technique, increasing the amount of chakra, are becoming more and more important. Shiyu's ninjutsu is becoming more and more powerful, and more chakra is needed. Now Shiyu somewhat understands why every ninja village is eager for tailed beasts. Except chakra, the enhancement of physical skills and illusions cannot be given up. Passive skills 4 to 5, advanced physical skills, basic visual illusions. The remaining passive skills 6 to 7 Shiyu have made adjustments and are not used to enhance Yundun. Now most of Yundun's attack methods are not completely satisfactory to Shiyu. It seems a bit unnecessary to use the passive skill bar to strengthen Yundun. On the contrary, the new ninjutsu developed due to the development of cloud release and the change in the limit of double blood succession made Shiyu feel that it was more necessary to increase the power. The remaining 2 passive skill columns are double blood succession limit change and ice escape freezing time. The distribution of passive skill columns will basically remain this way for a period of time. However, if there is a battle, Shiyu also figured out the skill configuration for the battle. Passive skills 1 to 2, water breathing. The effect it brings is water style and no physical consumption. Passive skills 3 to 4, ice escape and water style are free of consumption. Shiyu combined with ice escape is naturally the most effective. In this way, there is no consumption of ice escape. Passive skills 5 to 6, Shiyu chose cloud release after hesitating for a long time. The various techniques that cloud release now has are considered good tricks, whether it is to deal with a large number of enemies or to assist other ninjutsu. Very good choice. The last passive skill 7 is naturally chakra refining. Chakra is restored every 5 minutes. After all, Tokichi will inevitably need to use non-consuming ninjutsu. Chakra restoration is also necessary. This is the skill configuration of combat. When the battle begins, the Great Sage will ask Shiyu to switch the skill page. At the same time, during the mission, Shiyu also asked the Great Sage to continuously calculate the cloud release ninjutsu to discover more useful cloud release ninjutsu. Episode 104. The progress of Yundun Shueji and Shiyu. Now 7 days have passed and we have arrived at the port of Takino country. While everyone was busy moving things and putting things on, Sasuke was also practicing basic sword skills without disturbing Shiyu. Shiyu can take this opportunity to check the progress of his Yundun development. In 7 days, Shiyu was satisfied with only one of the 40 skills calculated by the Great Sage on the first day. Yundun Yunlong Breath Technique. A huge dragon head is condensed through the clouds, which can spit out hot and corrosive spitting rings. Although it evolved from the power of boil style, Yundun's cloud state seems to be due to the integration of wind style chakra. Therefore, the mist sweeps through very quickly. It is basically the same as fire style fire dragon technique. The acid mist sweeps through very fast and the attack power is not bad either. Not to mention other ninjutsu, they are basically useless or have repetitive functions. Among the ninjutsu calculated on the second day, only one was chosen by Shiyu. Yundun Purple Smoke Machine Troop. The maximum number of human figures condensed into clouds and mist can reach 377. They have certain thinking ability and can execute the orders of the caster. Of course, the number 403 means that the more and more complex the orders, the more difficult it is to execute them. They have strong resistance to blows, but their resistance to ninjutsu is slightly weak, so they can be regarded as a good auxiliary ninjutsu. It is still very useful for reconnaissance or testing traps. On the 3rd day, there was no ninjutsu that Shiyu could appreciate, and on the 4th and 5th days, it was almost the same. The 6th and 7th days consist of 2 good ninjutsu. Yundun, the white dove of the cloud. The clouds and mist are condensed into the form of white doves, which can fly rapidly. The white doves will attack the enemy. Because of the cloud and mist state, the impact will not be too strong, but the cold air generated after the snow swallows explode can freeze the enemy. Yun escape, white vine of cloud. The white smoke formed by the clouds can be used to wrap around the enemy like a vine, trapping the enemy so that they cannot move. The few ninjutsu harvested in 7 days are not very strong attack methods in Shiyu's opinion, so Shiyu is still considering the enhancement of Yundun. This kid is in a daze every day. Do you expect such a person to protect my safety? Third Doctor, I think you are completely crazy. Ache, Fenghua Xiaoshua's voice came, and Shiyu raised his head and glanced at him. This little girl has been causing trouble for herself in the past few days. It seems that because she found the other person before and brought her back, Shashue has always looked down upon herself. If it were Sasuke or Naruto, he would probably be angered by this verbal provocation, but Shiyu is not a real brat. Don't care, an ordinary person's words have no impact on Shiyu. He started to practice the earth attribute nature transformation on his own. Of course, when practicing the earth attribute nature transformation, Shiyu will replace one of the chakra refining techniques in skill column 1 to 3 with earth style. In this way, the cultivation effect will be 10 times greater. What if such a brat is a ninja? I'm afraid even a guard can't stop him. What do you expect from them? Shiyu frowned. After enduring it for so many days, this girl is getting more and more excited, right? He raised his eyes and looked at Shashue gently. Shiyu made a seal without showing any trace. Body holding technique. The next second, Shashue was completely unable to move. The third doctor was still trying to persuade Shashue to get on the boat. However, seeing that she didn't speak or leave, he had no choice but to have someone carry her onto the boat. At this time, Kakashi appeared behind Shiyu. Strictly speaking, we absolutely cannot take action against our employer. What's more, it's still a target we need to protect. Shiyu smiled and said, I know. Kakashi-sensei. Kakashi nodded and didn't say anything. The other party didn't know anyway. Even if he knew, he couldn't provide evidence. The commission should still be paid. In comparison, what Kakashi cares about now is that Shiyu actually started practicing the ugly nature transformation. Is this kid preparing to practice all 5 nature transformation escape techniques? Do you want to remind Shiyu? It's better to be good at everything than to specialize in one. But seeing how serious Shiyu is, coupled with Shiyu's amazing talent, maybe he can become Konoha's second ninjutsu doctor. After getting on the boat, Shiyu was practicing at the bow while admiring the scenery. Behind him, Shashue came to see Shiyu as soon as Shiyu released her restraining technique. What tricks did you play on me just now, you damn ninjas? Shiyu frowned. I don't know what you said. Stop pretending. I know you used your hands and feet to keep me from moving while these guys carried me up. You ninjas, once someone offers you money to do something, you won't refuse. You guys don't care about anything for money. Shiyu looked back at her. Don't bother me if you have nothing to do. You. Shashue hated Shiyu's attitude even more. Hasn't this guy watched his own movie? So what if you are a ninja? Start your own star. Moreover, he was hired by the third doctor to protect him, so why should he treat himself like this? Keep going, you will regret it soon. Then we will see how long you can keep this brat arrogant. Shashue left angrily. Shiyu smiled and regretted it? Do you mean those ninjas from the land of snow? It just so happened that Shiyu also planned to continue boiling the frog in warm water to show his tolerance. And the land of snow. It happens to be a good place to use ice escape blood succession limit. Shiyu also wants to give it a try to see how much his ice escape power has increased after so long. At this moment, on the other side of Shiyu and others, a larger ship passed quickly and unexpectedly encountered other ships on the vast sea. And the direction was still the same. There seemed to be hostile looks on the ship. Shiyu frowned, and suddenly Kakashi also appeared. There should be ninjas on that ship, be careful. No wonder he said he felt strange sights. But unfortunately, when the ship completely disappeared from sight, the ninja on the other side's ship did nothing. Kakashi, it seems that they are just ninjas who are on a mission abroad. They are not here for us. Aren't you here for us? Shiyu doesn't feel like it. There seems to be hostility in that look. But it's a bit strange that he didn't take action. Episode 105. The Snow Ninja Attack Team 7 is dispatched. At night, Shashue was lying on the bed and suddenly opened her eyes. No. Why is that brat doing this? After sailing on the sea for more than a day, even though Shiyu and others are ninjas, they will inevitably feel bored. In the early morning of the next day, Shiyu stood on the bow of the boat early, looking at the snow-capped mountains appearing in the distance. Finally we saw land, although it was a vast expanse of white snow. But I can finally log into the event. Shiyu's action of standing on the bow of the boat made Shashue, who had just woken up but was not fully awake, curse coldly. Be careful not to fall into the sea and drown. And as soon as she finished speaking, Shiyu fell down. Seeing this scene, the 3 doctors were stunned, and Shashue herself was also stunned. Are your words so effective? As soon as I finished speaking, the kid fell down. Quick! Save people! Shashue was the first to rush to the side of the ship's guardrail and stuck her head out to look down. However, Shiyu was running fast on the sea, heading towards the distant shore. Running, on, the sea? Shashue was confused. How did this happen? However, the next second Naruto jumped out. I finally saw land. I don't want to take a boat anymore. Shiyu, wait for me. After saying that, Naruto also jumped down, and Sasuke curled his lips. I can't bear this, and I still want to become a Hokage. Although he said that, Sasuke's body was also very honest. He jumped down, and the 3 of them quickly ran towards the shore. Seeing the 3 silhouettes flying across the sea, Shashue was stunned. These brats, can they still do this? At this time, the director became even more excited. I know what I've been wanting all along, but I didn't expect ninjas to have this kind of ability. Hurry, shoot it. Shiyu and the other three arrived at the shore first. Shiyu casually found a place to sit down. It felt so comfortable to have his feet on the ground. Although Shiyu didn't get seasick, he felt too suffocated on the boat. Soon the ship also docked and was preparing to shoot here. The dangerous cliffs of this place made the director feel that it was very rare. When Fanghua Xiaoshui got off the boat, she couldn't help but glance at Shiyu. 2. The filming went on normally, and Shiyu really had no interest in this old-fashioned script. But now Shiyu is doing warm-up exercises. Although I have no interest in filming, I am interested in the enemy Shiyu who will appear next. During the intense filming process, an explosion suddenly occurred on the iceberg cliff not far away. Boom! Ice shards flying into the sky scattered in all directions. Shiyu raised his eyes and smiled. Here we come. Naruto and Sasuke cheered up immediately. The next second, 3 figures rushed out of the ice and snow and landed on the icicles not far away. These 3 people are the snow ninjas hired by Fenghua Furu Tao in the Land of Snow, Wolf Fang Avalanche, Hail Winter Bear, and Feishuichui District. The snow ninja team appears. At the same time, Kakashi's eyes suddenly shrank. Kakashi didn't recognize the other 2 people, but the leader, Wolf Fang Avalanche, was too familiar to Kakashi. Kakashi had fought with this person before, but at that time, Kakashi could only run for his life. Swish, swish, swish. Shiyu, Sasuke, and Naruto had already arrived in front of Fanghua Koyuki in advance when Kakashi came back to his senses and was about to remind the 3 of them to protect Fanghua Koyuki. Looking at the 3 people who suddenly appeared quickly, Fanghua Xiaoshui was a little unable to react. How did these 3 people appear? Are they really just imps? How could it be so fast? Hey! Is this the ninja of Konoha? It seems like he has some strength. Snow Honeysuckle Bear was still a little surprised by the speed the 3 of them showed just now. Chue Yen was the same, and the relaxed expression on his face also softened a lot. Schwebing looked at Kakashi. We meet again. Kakashi, you won't run away again this time. Run? These words surprised Sasuke. Would Kakashi run away when faced with this person? How is this possible with Kakashi's strength? Even the Hokage probably can't make Kakashi turn around and run away. Langye Shuebing, you are still here as expected, but now it is impossible for you to let me escape like you did before. As he spoke, Kakashi planned to take action. Kakashi-sensei. Leave these guys to us. Fighting can make us grow faster. Shiyu spoke. Kakashi was stunned for a moment and looked at the kunai in his hand. Shiyu was capable of defeating Zabuza, and it was not impossible for him to deal with Wolf Fang Avalanche. 0, please give me flowers. He can wait until the critical moment before taking action, okay? I'll leave it to you. Don't embarrass Konoha. Rest assured, Shiyu said without looking back. He knew that Naruto and Sasuke were both very motivated at this moment. Everyone else, get back on the ship, Kakashi said, and the director team started to pack up their things and leave. But at this time, Langye Shuebing was just a stranger. Dong Xiong took action, took out a strange ski, stepped on the ski, and started to rush towards Shiyu and others. Shiyu didn't even raise his eyelids. Naruto, I leave it to you. Do not worry. Naruto rushed out with a lunge. 0. Now Naruto's speed has been greatly improved, and this guy's training during this period has also been to strengthen his abilities in this area. So fast. Fanghua Koyuki, who was still retreating under the urging of the third doctor, was even more surprised when she saw Naruto's speed. These brats are obviously only at this age. How can even ninjas have such power? Boom! In the fight between Naruto and Fuyuma, the 2 were evenly matched in terms of strength. Dongxiong couldn't believe that the power he unleashed with his special chakra armor was blocked by a small Konoha genin. How can it be? Chien on the other side also took action. He raised his hand to form a seal, and a series of ice and snow flew up, directly turning into ice swallows and attacking quickly. Sasuke grabbed the opponent's attention with a kunai and jumped away at the same time, and make a backhand seal. Fire style, great fireball technique. Boom! The roaring flames instantly melted the ice swallows in the air. The ninja battle stunned the people in the director's team, who were retreating. The leader, Langye Shuebing, looked at Shiyu, who was staring at him from beginning to end. Little kid of Konoha, do you want to stop me? Back then, even Kakashi could only run away in front of me. How dare you, a mere genin, to attack me? Shiyu held the ninja sword Zangetsu behind him with his backhand. He spoke slowly, neither too fast nor too slowly. When a person only mentions the past, it means that his strength itself is not very good. Episode 106. Konoha genin is very scary. Langye Shuebing didn't expect that a kid would dare to be so arrogant. Boy, what's your name? Moonlight Shiyu. Moonlight? I've never heard of it. It seems like he's just an ordinary ninja. Even the ninja of the family dared to be so arrogant in front of him. Kakashi, are you sure you don't want to take action yourself? Hearing this, Kakashi, who was in charge of protecting the director team, shook his head gently. I don't think it's necessary. Then let you watch the kid from your village die in front of you. I didn't expect that after so many years, you are still such a coward. You don't even dare to face me in person. While Langye Shuebing was talking, Sudden, king. A sharp blade chopping sound sounded, and Langyushuabing was stunned. He looked at the chakra barrier in front of him in surprise as the chakra armor automatically 977 popped up. Why did the chakra barrier suddenly appear? This is how the same thing? Behind Kakashi, the director and others realized something was wrong. That boy is gone. Missing? After being reminded by these people, Langyushuabing noticed that Shiyu was missing. Where's that kid from Konoha? King. Suddenly there was another voice, this time from behind. Langyushuabing quickly turned back, but still found nothing. If the first time was an accident, then the second time was really a hell. Why was he being attacked inexplicably when there was nothing there? Even the director and others were stunned and said, What is this? Is this also the power of ninjas? The attacks launched are completely invisible, and why did the ninja kid suddenly disappear? While he was talking, suddenly Langyushuabing noticed a footprint on the ground. Footprint. Just as he was thinking about it, there was a sudden bang. This time it was not the roar of a sword slashing, but a terrifying force directly impacting his chakra barrier. This blow even directly consumed about 1/5 of his chakra. Wolf Fang Avalanche retreated continuously, and he looked around with a horrified expression. Suddenly there were footprints on the snow, and he seemed to understand. Invisible, kid, are you invisible? Is this the limit of the escape? Blood succession, Langyushuabing said. This time he did not dare to stand still and wait for the attack, but jumped up directly. Jumped to the icicle on the side. Just finding my feet. Yo! The roar of the blade cutting through the sky sounded. The icicle at the foot of Langia Avalanche was directly cut in half. And Shiyu also found traces of Shuedi betraying him. Since this is the case, I won't pretend to be with this guy. Even if he fights head-on, he is not afraid of the opponent at all. Shiyu's figure slowly walked out of the snow mist, and the Zangetsu held in his right hand slid slowly on the snow. What a turtle shell! Even my attacks can't easily break it. The chakra armor seems to be of some use. Langyushuabing saw Shiyu take the initiative to show up. No wonder you dare to be so arrogant. It turns out that you are a ninja in the realm of blood succession, and you also have this kind of strange escape technique, but you took the initiative to show up. Don't you plan to continue to be a coward? Shiyu sneered. Don't you know who the turtle is? Humph. You arrogant brat, you dare to sneak attack me. If it weren't for the protection of the chakra armor, I'm afraid I would have been killed by you now. The Konoha shinobi village can only train these sneaky guys. Let me show you what it means to be a real ninja. As he spoke, Wolf Fang Avalanche began to form seals quickly. Ice Escape, Broken Dragon, and Tiger. In an instant, the snowflakes suddenly swept out of the surrounding snow, transformed into the shape of a tiger, and rushed towards Shiyu's direction. Seeing the surprisingly fast and powerful tiger attacking, Fanghua Xiaoxue couldn't help but sweat for Shiyu. However, the next second Shiyu gently lifted Zangetsu. Does this deserve to be called Ice Escape? In Shiyu's opinion, this is just snow escape at best. Just like Conan's paper escape, it is at best a secret technique, not a blood inheritance limit, because it does not involve the nature transformation of chakra at all. The knife in the raised hand is like flowing water, swaying lightly. A stream of water swept out. It would be fine if it was a simple water style, but unfortunately Shiyu is a sword skill. Breath of water, type of sea, tide of strike, bang bang bang, continuous slashes. Although the power of water style was restrained by ice release, the power of Shiyu's slashes was not weakened by this. One knife. The snow-like tiger that swept over was split into two in an instant. Shiyu's figure passed through the tiger, the long knife trailing behind him, and the faint blue light on the blade flashed slowly. The tiger once again turned into snowflakes and scattered. Fanghua Xiaoxue stared at Shiyu's back in disbelief, with her eyes wide open. Are the ninjas of Konoha so strong? He is just a genin from Konoha. Why does he have such power? However, Langia Avalanche had no time to be surprised, because Shiyu was approaching. High speed. He didn't have time to think about it and just made a seal. Ice Escape, Ice Prison technique. Shiyu smiled while waving Zangetsu wildly. Since the breath of water is suppressed, it's okay not to use it. Several consecutive knives blocked the sudden burst of ice crystals on the ground. Even the next second, these ice crystals cracked open and were easily chopped into pieces by Shiyu. Directly passing through the broken ice, Shiyu finally came to the front of Wolf Fang Avalanche and started slashing wildly. Sparks emerged from the chakra barrier on Langia Avalanche. In just a moment, Langyushuabing was slashed by Shiyu about a dozen times, and then kicked away. Although the attacks are blocked, it is chakra that is consumed by blocking the attacks. After one attack, only half of his chakra was left. This kid's slashing attack is so powerful. It seems that he is a ninja who specializes in physical skills. No, it should be said that he is a ninja who specializes in swordsmanship. If I were attacked at close range by him, my chakra armor barrier would probably be broken. No, he absolutely cannot let Shiyu get so close to him. Langyushuabing swallowed silently. The sleepy genin now felt very scary to him. He's just a kid, why can he be so violent? I have no choice but to use the strongest ninjutsu. I will kill you with this blow. Seal, ice release, white whale. In an instant, the sea surface surged, and a huge white whale appeared, a whale made of condensed ice. He jumped out of the water with a huge horn on his head and stabbed straight towards Shiyu. Even if it can't hit Shiyu, the impact of such a big white whale is still quite terrifying. Shiyu looked at Lange Shuiban, who was keeping a safe distance from him. Do you think I don't know ninjutsu? Episode 107. The shape of chi changing the true ice escape. Shiyu, be careful. Kakashi saw the ninjutsu of Wolf Fang Avalanche, that huge narwhal, if it was really going to be hit. Even Shiyu might not feel comfortable. In the current situation, it was too late for Kakashi to rush over. He hoped Shiyu could escape in time, but Kakashi saw Shiyu holding the ninja sword in both hands and facing the attacking beluga, with no intention of dodging. Do you want a head-on confrontation? Shiyu, what is he going to do? While Kakashi was thinking, he suddenly saw Shiyu raising his left hand. After a quick seal, Shiyu's left hand gently slid on the back of the knife. Boil style, blade of heat breath, Autotat. Zangetsu emitted white smoke and made a fierce sizzling sound. Kakashi was stunned for a moment. From this distance, he couldn't see clearly what Shiyu did, and he wasn't sure what ninjutsu he had just released. But the white smoke suddenly rises from the blade. What's going on? Shiyu took a stance and looked at the huge white whale in front of him, which could almost cover the sky and the sun. And those extremely sharp corners. Lange Shuiban being smeared. Go to hell. Konoha brat. At this moment, Shiyu breathed out a sigh of relief. Breathing of water. 08 Chi type change. Heat flow Shizuku wave ripple thrust. With a quick stab in the next second, the Zangetsu in Shiyu's hand not only emitted white smoke, but also a stream of water. The moment he saw the water flow, Lange Avalanche laughed again. Are you an idiot? Use water style to fight against my ice escape, and you're asking for death. Ordinary water style is naturally at a disadvantage against ice release, but Shiyu's heat flow is different. The ability to multi-purpose allows Shiyu to use the sword technique of water breath while using the heat breath blade. In this case, the power of boil style is combined with the power of water style. The originally ordinary water flow boiled, and at the same time, it carried corrosive water flow. In an instant, it was like an indestructible spear, rushing straight towards the giant whale in the sky. One strike. The giant whale's sharp horn collided with the water gun, and the collision between the two directly penetrated the beluga in an instant. Lange Shuiban was stunned. The ice escape ninjutsu that I was so proud of could be broken by water style? Looking at the beluga that was directly disintegrated by the penetration, Lange Avalanche couldn't help but open his mouth wide and look at the scene in front of him in horror. This is impossible. Water style. How can it be stronger than my ice style? Lange Avalanche had a look of shock on his face. The ice cubes were blown away by the heat flow and directly shattered to form bursts of mist, shrouded Shiyu's figure. The movement here caused Naruto and Sasuke to pause their fighting for a moment. Ice escape that actually blocked the avalanche? Fubuki retracted her gaze and looked at Uchiha Sasuke in front of her. Not only was the kid in avalanche fighting terrifying, the Konoha kid she was fighting was also very powerful. Not only can he defeat his ice escape with one hand of fire style, but he also uses physical skills and hidden weapons very skillfully. Each of these genin of Konoha is so powerful. Dong Xiong's opponent on the other side, the yellow-haired kid, is also incredibly powerful. It is incredible that he can compete with Dong Xiong, who is blessed by chakra armor. You have to speed up the pace. There is a Konoha elite Jonin Hatake Kakashi watching eagerly. While Fubuki was thinking this, sudden, Shiyu's voice sounded, and his figure stepped out of the heat. Does this escape technique deserve to be called ice escape? Hearing Shiyu's words, Lange Shuiban looked unhappy. In fact, their ice escape was not ice escape at all. It can only be said to be a way to control ice and snow. There is still a big difference between ninjutsu and ninjutsu that are truly made from chakra nature transformation. The biggest difference is that if it was a white whale that had used real ice escape just now, it would not have been able to be melted by Shiyu using heat flow. Even Sasuke's fire style is absolutely impossible to melt easily. It is a power emperor that can be equal to lava. Feeling the hot air blowing from the direction of Shiyu, Lange Avalanche suddenly seemed to understand why his white whale was defeated by the opponent just now. It turned out to be because of this power? But how did he increase the temperature of the water flow? Does this kid also master some secret technique? However, at this moment, Shiyu used his backhand to put Zangetsu back into the scabbard. Great Sage, switch to the combat skills page. Great Sage, the switch is successful. Whether to enable thinking acceleration. No, there's no need to think about speeding up when dealing with this kind of thing. Shuiban didn't quite understand why Shiyu put away his weapon. Was he planning to surrender? Or was he saying he wouldn't fight? Kakashi saw Shiyu's action, but smiled faintly. This kid has been enduring it for so long. Can he finally bear it no longer? Your ice escape is so disappointing. Shiyu slowly raised his hand and formed a seal with his hands. Although Shiyu has mastered the technique of forming seals with one hand, the power of the ninjutsu performed by forming seals with both hands will be increased by about 1/3. See the Shiyu seal. But only one seal was formed, and Langia Shuebing was stunned for a moment. What ninjutsu is this kid planning to use against him? Snort. What powerful ninjutsu can a mere genin possess? If he can practice swordsmanship to this point, does he still have time to practice any powerful ninjutsu? The ninjutsu that blocked his own white whale just now was already very good. Just as Langia Shuebing was sneering in his heart, Shiyu suddenly opened his eyes. Ice escape. Freeze moment. Buzz. A white chill swept out from Shiyu's feet instantly. 490. The ring-shaped cold air spread, and in a sudden moment, the avalanche of Langia, which was 20 meters away from Shiyu, froze instantly. In just a moment, Langia Shuebing's body was frozen, directly by the huge ice block. Even Kakashi was stunned by such a technique. Is this Shiyu's ice escape power? Freezing completed instantly. What a terrible power. No, Kakashi shook his head. To have such an effect, there should be environmental factors. The ice and snow here is simply getting twice the result, with half the effort for the use of ice escape. Click, click. Not only was the Wolf Fang avalanche, but when Shiyu froze, the snowy honeysuckle bear 50 meters away and Fubuki about 70 meters away were also frozen one after another. -18. Kill 3 people instantly. Naruto and Sasuke both looked at Shiyu in disbelief. At this moment, the ice and snow on the ground seemed to suddenly begin to grow. After the passive skill bar has been enhanced during this period, the range of the freezing moment has expanded to a distance of nearly 100 meters. And in this land of ice and snow, the range immediately tripled again. In other words, the range of nearly 300 meters belongs to Shiyu's freezing time range. Kakashi, who was more than 100 meters away, looked at the ice and snow under his feet, which was growing crazily, with a look of horror in his eyes. Episode 108. Shueji who wants to learn ninjutsu. Is this Shiyu's ice release? This is obviously not just as simple as controlling ice and snow. Shiyu's chakra even directly causes the surrounding temperature to drop sharply again. The moisture in the air is also constantly being frozen, and the increasing amount of ice and snow on the ground is the best evidence. It's just that this probably requires a huge amount of chakra to be consumed. But looking at Shiyu, there is no problem at all. But that's right, Shiyu's chakra amount is no longer comparable to that of ordinary ninjas. Boom! Suddenly the ice crystals exploded, and the ice crystals of the frozen wolf avalanche exploded directly. He was panting heavily, and his whole body was already invaded by the terrifying cold air. It was already very difficult for his limbs to move flexibly. More importantly, he lowered his head and glanced at the chakra device on his chest, which had cracked. The freezing just now caused problems with this device, and at the same time, the chakra in his body was basically completely consumed. A genin from Konoha, a brat who was not even half his age, was defeated at the hands of his opponent. Naruto, Sasuke, just give them the final blow. Shiyu saw that Wolf Fang avalanche was able to escape the ice. Although it was because of the chakra armor, he had to guard against it. Since Wolf Fang avalanche can escape the ice, maybe the other 2 guys can too. So it's best to give them a fatal blow now. Naruto smiled and said, no problem, I'll use this trick to deal with you. With that said, Naruto released the shadow clone. Then strong chakra gathered in Naruto's hands, and the sudden sound of rapid wind made Sasuke take a curious look. Is this Naruto's special move? Sasuke might have been envious before, but now he doesn't envy Naruto. Sharingan. The chakra fluctuations on Sasuke's body, who turned on Sharingan, also suddenly changed, and then formed a seal. Chidori. Thunder and lightning condensed in Sasuke's hands, and the sound of countless thunder and lightning gathering at the same time was like thousands of birds chirping crazily. The 2 of them basically completed their techniques at the same time, and then headed straight forward. Rasengan and Chidori attack at the same time. Boom, zzz. 2 roars came in succession, and both Dongxiong and Fubuki were hit at the same time. Shiyu's ice crystal shattered, an explosion roared, and then the chakra devices on the 2 snow ninjas were directly destroyed. The 2 fell to the ground and lost consciousness. After his 2 companions were dealt with, Langia Shuebing wanted to escape. In any case, Qingshan was left without fear of running out of firewood, but he just moved his fingers, and the next second Shiyu appeared behind him holding Zangetsu. The blade was at the front of his neck. Want to escape? There is no such chance. Shiyu's eyes narrowed slightly, and the cold air spread from the blade, directly eroding crazily towards Langia Shuebing's body. The avalanche of wolf teeth visible to the naked eye began to freeze from the neck. This was completely different from the ice crystals that had condensed before. This was because the cold air froze the avalanche of wolf teeth directly from the inside. The body immediately seemed to turn into ice, starting from the neck and spreading crazily towards the whole body. In just a few breaths, Langya Avalanche completely turned into an iceman. Then Shiyu slowly put away the ninja sword. At this time, Kakashi slowly walked over and looked at Shiyu, Sasuke, and Naruto. Although Shiyu and the others are just genin, judging from the current situation, both Shiyu and Naruto Sasuke are no longer just pure genin. Naruto's basic combat ability is completely superior to genin, and the same is true for Sasuke. Coupled with the fact that both of them have one-hit kill moves, their combat power has reached the level of Chunin, and even approached Jonin. Not to mention Shiyu, Kakashi, the power star of ice release, felt eye-opening. He developed the blood succession limit by himself, and also developed the ninjutsu of the blood succession limit by himself. Kakashi also noticed the ability to freeze the enemy instantly. I am afraid that as long as he is a certain distance away from Shiyu, he will be affected. Chakra seems to be able to resist this attack, but the prerequisite is that enough chakra must be consumed. Outstanding, you have performed like a qualified ninja. It was rare to be praised by Kakashi, and Naruto smiled with satisfaction. Of course, I want to be the future Hokage. When Shiyu and others were talking briefly, not far away, Fanghua Xiaoxue stared blankly at this side, seeing that 3 enemies who were basically invincible in her eyes were defeated so easily by 3 genin from Konoha. So is this the strength of the ninjas in the strongest ninja village? They are completely different concepts from ninjas from other countries. Xiaoxue, you. The third doctor saw Xiaoxue's expression was a little strange and called him, but the next second Xiaoxue took the initiative to walk out, leaning towards Shiyu and others. Everyone else looked at Xiaoxue curiously. When Xiaoxue came to Shiyu and others, Kakashi thought she was going to say something, but she came directly in front of the frozen wolf Fang avalanche. Is he dead? Shiyu, that's not all. If you soak it in hot water, you can still survive. Oh, Xiaoxue nodded, but the next second she punched the frozen avalanche hard. Although her strength was very small, the moment she was hit, she shattered into countless ice cubes and fell to the ground. Kakashi glanced at Fanghua Koyuki with a complicated expression. The third doctor rushed over and said, "Are you okay?" Xiaoxue. Fanghua Xiaoxue's sudden change of mood made everyone feel a little strange. Waiting for the crew to pack up and return to the ship, Shiyu and the others had already rested on the ship. And Kakashi came alone to Xiaoyuki, who was sitting on the ice looking at the icebergs. Are you comfortable? Koyuki glanced at Kakashi. Yeah. Then let's go. When Kakashi was about to turn around and leave, Xiaoxue stopped Kakashi. Can you teach me ninjutsu? Huh? That's good. Koyuki Fanghua wants to become a ninja? You can't even refine chakra. It's difficult to become a ninja. Not everyone has the talent to become a ninja. Really? Xiaoxue was a little disappointed, but she looked at Shiyu, who was practicing nature transformation by the side of the boat. His name is Moonlight Shiyu, right? Yes, what's wrong? Xiaoxue shook her head. It's nothing, I just want to learn the same power as him. Shiyu's power? Ice escape? Kakashi smiled and said, even if you are a ninja, you can't learn it. Why? Shiyu's ice escape is the blood successor, the limit of blood inheritance? Xiaoxue looked at Kakashi in confusion. Well, how do you put it? In layman's terms, it is the power in the blood. It can only be passed down through the blood. If you want to master it through learning, the chance is probably 1 in a billion. Xiaoxue was stunned for a moment. Blood, Xiao. Episode 109. Xiaoxue, I want your blood inheritance limit. At this moment, Fanghua Xiaoxue looked at Shiyu a little differently. Shiyu just raises his hand to freeze the enemy. This kind of power is simply too strong. And this is the country of snow. This kind of power is simply born for the country of snow. Does this mean that only the descendants of Moonlight Shiyu can inherit this power? Fanghua Xiaoxue asked again. Kakashi felt strange when he heard this, but he couldn't tell what was wrong, so he nodded lightly. Yes, but it's not absolutely possible. Fanghua Xiaoxue, who seemed to understand, stood up directly and walked towards the direction of the ship. There are still a few days to go. Fanghua Xiaoxue felt that it was necessary to make good use of it. The ship sets sail again, and it will still be some time before it actually reaches the land of snow. But Shiyu, who was practicing, felt something was wrong because he could always feel that someone was watching him. And Shiyu also easily noticed that the person who always stared at him was Fanghua Xiaoxue, who didn't want to see him. What is this woman doing? Why is she staring at me? Xiaoxue's strange behavior was also noticed by Kakashi, who kept staring at Shiyu. Combining what he said before, Kakashi had a bold guess of 220, but it shouldn't be the case. Shiyu went back to his room directly to avoid Fanghua Xiaoxue's sight. If you can't afford to offend, you can always hide. You are a target that needs protection and cannot move, so stay away from the head office. However, Shiyu's clean time did not last long, and soon the door was quietly opened. Shiyu was shocked. What is going on? What does this woman want to do? That's not how you look for trouble, right? As soon as she entered the door, Xiaoxue turned around and saw Shiyu sitting on the bed with her eyes wide open, staring at her. Xiaoxue brushed her hair beside her ears, and then placed the hot soup and rice in her hands on the cabinet next to Shiyu's bed. Time to eat. This simple sentence left Shiyu confused. Could this woman want to poison herself? Serve yourself a meal properly? Is this the sun rising from the west? I want to say thank you for protecting me. I underestimated you before. Shiyu waved his hand. No, we are ninjas. Accepting employment to complete tasks is what we should do. It was obvious that the words should be almost over here, but the other party had no intention of leaving. Instead, he hesitated for a while. He picked up the food he had put down and said, "This is a bit hot, let me help you cool it down." After saying that, he sat directly next to Shiyu. Now Shiyu probably understands what this woman wants to do. Is this seducing yourself? Wait, why are you doing this? She had the nerve to do this when she was still a child? If you put aside the fact that this woman made trouble for you before, then Fenghua Xiaoxue is still very beautiful. And this figure is also. Shiyu glanced at it discreetly, and there was indeed something to it. But appreciation is appreciation. There is no free lunch in the world, and if this woman's purpose is not clear, Shiyu will not be lured away casually. To express my gratitude, let me feed you. Xiaoxue handed the spoon of hot soup to Shiyu's mouth. Shiyu raised his eyes slightly and stared at Xiaoxue. He opened his mouth and drank the soup. Shiyu doesn't refuse to be served, which is also a kind of enjoyment. Tell me. What do you want to do? Xiaoxue, who was about to do it again after hearing this, was stunned for a moment, and she bit her lip gently. It stands to reason that for a kid of Shiyu's age, his body is almost fully functional when he is first in love, so he should be very curious about the opposite s**x. She also looks like a real beauty, but she can't win over a brat. Xiaoxue lowered her head and glanced. Could it be that she was wearing too thick clothes and didn't show off her own advantages? But there's nothing we can do. This is the land of snow. Although AIDC hasn't docked yet, the temperature is not as low as usual. Wearing thin clothes, I'm afraid I'd be frozen even after taking 2 steps. Do not care. Xiaoxue put down what she was holding. Since you guessed it, I'll just tell you. As he spoke, he began to take off his clothes. I have traveled a lot in the ninja world, and I also know that the 5 ordinary small countries are different. Ninja villages and daimyo maintained a certain balance with each other before, but small countries are different. Only when power is in your own hands can you truly control a country. FFLX. Shiyu couldn't help but blush a little when he looked at Fenghua Xiaoxue. This woman just talked, and she had to do something, even though Shiyu was happy to see this scene. I am the princess of the land of snow. At first I thought there would be no hope, but now I think it is okay. The current master of the snow country is my uncle, Fenghua Regeo. I would like to ask you to help me defeat him. I want to regain control of the snow country. Shiyu raised his hand to signal Fenghua Xiaoxue to stop and continue, but there would be nothing left. You want to entrust us to help you restore your country. I can understand this, but you don't need to do this. Can you just say no? When talking about this issue, Xiaoxue's face turned slightly red. I want your bloodline. Let your blood remain in the country of snow. Only in this way will things like the storm and anger not happen again. I know that this kind of power is useless through learning. Only blood can continue, so. Shiyu was confused. This guy came here to borrow a seed from him? Should I borrow it or not? Shiyu. It's time to eat. Why don't you come out to eat? Naruto's voice came, and at the same time, footsteps were approaching quickly. Boom. The door was pushed open by Naruto. Naruto looked at Shiyu, who was already resting. Ah. Are you sleeping? Don't you get up to eat? I'm not hungry. I'll squint a little longer. Okay. I'll save it for you. Remember to eat it when you get up. Naruto glanced at the strange width of the quilt on the bed, and was thinking about why Shiyu had to bend his legs and hold the quilt up so high when sleeping. After watching the door, Shiyu stood up and immediately activated his ninjutsu, freezing the door to death. He lowered his head and opened the quilt and looked at Fenghua Xiaoxue inside. Come out. Naruto is gone. Fenghua Xiaoxue raised her head and looked at Shiyu. No. Unless you give me your blood inheritance limit. Shiyu is helpless. Is this something just given? I know what you are worried about. I will find a way to solve it. You come out first. Are you used to this? Xiaoxue was stunned for a moment. It feels pretty good. Besides, you've already seen me through. Shouldn't you be responsible? Just see everything. Don't you still have guilt? No more now. Episode 110. Shueji, who doesn't give up on new commissions. After landing in the land of snow, Shiyu looked helplessly at Fenghua Koyuki, who was following him not far behind. When their eyes collided, their faces turned red. This situation was also noticed by Kakashi, and he recalled that that day he watched Fanghua Koyuki enter Shiyu's room, and then did not come out until the ship was about to land. Kakashi sighed helplessly. Why can't it be my turn for such a good thing? Kakashi-sensei. Shiyu suddenly called Kakashi from behind, and Naruto and Sasuke were also called over by Shiyu. Taking advantage of the team's break, Shiyu called the three of them together. That Fuji Kazuki is looking for me. As soon as Shiyu spoke, Kakashi nodded. I know. As he spoke, he winked at Shiyu. Shiyu was stunned for a moment. What does this guy mean? What does he want from you? Fortunately, Sasuke immediately asked, and Shiyu quickly avoided Kakashi's eyes and replied, she wants to give us a new commission. New commission? Naruto was also interested. Naturally, the more missions, the better, because in this way, he can earn more rewards. What commission? She is the princess of the land of snow, and her real name is Fanghua Shashue. Princess? Naruto and Sasuke looked at each other. Both of them were surprised that they didn't expect to be a princess. But there is a question. If she says she is a princess, does that mean she is a princess? Before the two of them could express their doubts, Kakashi nodded. I know. I was the one who rescued her from the land of snow. Although I don't know what Kakashi has experienced in the past and why he saved Fanghua Shashue, but since it is Kakashi, there is nothing wrong. I didn't expect it to be a princess. Sasuke looked in the direction of Fanghua Koyuki, and at this time Fanghua Koyuki was looking at Shiyu. This made Sasuke frown. So what's her mission? Naruto asked. Shiyu, she wants us to help her restore her country. The current controller of the snow country is Fanghua Nuoto, and she wants us to help her defeat Fanghua Nuoto, so that she can regain control of the Yonji country, help the princess regain her kingdom. Naruto became interested in this kind of mission as soon as he heard about it. However, Kakashi coughed and said, Shiyu, this kind of mission is not something you can just accept. It is equivalent to an S-level mission, and the restoration of the country involves the internal affairs of other countries. For Konoha and the Fire Country, careful consideration is needed. Shiyu also thought of this. So what he meant by telling Kakashi was actually to see Kakashi's attitude towards this. If it doesn't work, then there is only another way. Let's just pretend we don't know about this mission. Kakashi said and glanced at Shiyu and found that there was no change in Shiyu. The conversation changed, but our mission is to protect Fuji Fengyuatai. No matter what her true identity is, this will not change. Konoha's ninjas must complete the mission after receiving it. Shiyu also understood after hearing this. Kakashi means that restoration of the country does not necessarily have to be stated openly. They protect Fuji Fengshue, and if someone takes action against Shashue, they will naturally deal with it. So whatever Fanghua Shashue wants to do, she can do it directly, as long as she has valid reasons and excuses. Shiyu nodded to show that he understood. Kakashi looked at Shiyu with a playful look. Fanghua Shashue has peeked at you 31 times, Shiyu. It seems that you are very charming. In this case, you should tell Miss Fuji Fengshue that her summer we are incapable of fulfilling our national mission. Damn Kakashi, he actually made fun of himself like this. He clearly saw it, and he still arranged it like this. Although Shiyu complained in his heart, he had no choice but to bite the bullet and come to Shashue. He clearly refused the mission to restore the country, but just like Kakashi, he also hinted at Fanghua Shashue. The third doctor on the side was completely stunned after hearing Shiyu's words. He looked at his princess in surprise. Your Highness Princess, you finally. Fanghua Koyuki smiled. If there is hope, I will naturally not give up. It's just that I couldn't see hope before, but I didn't expect that these Konoha ninjas are so powerful. With their help, it will definitely be possible. Hearing Shashue's words, the third doctor's eyes filled with excitement. At this time, the director was calling Shashue to film. Alright, third doctor, you understand Shiyu-kuen's hint just now, right? Where should the crew go next, do you understand? 0, please give me flowers. The third doctor smiled and said, of course. Don't worry, princess, I will introduce to the director which place in the snow country has the most beautiful scenery and is the most worth shooting. Fanghua Shashue nodded and looked at Shiyu who was resting aside. Passing by Shiyu, thank you, Shiyu-kun. Shiyu looked up and smiled. No, although you are so helpful without us having to pay extra commission, I am very grateful to you, but I must get Shiyu-kuen's blood inheritance limit. Cough cough cough. Shiyu almost choked on his own saliva. Looking at Shashue who had already gone to film, Shiyu sighed helplessly. I don't know if I'm lucky or unlucky. Shiyu took out a scroll from behind and looked at the scroll. They should like it in such an isolated country. While the crew was loading the truck, Shiyu went to the port of Snow Country and gave the scroll away and asked someone to help take it to a place. Soon the crew was ready to set off, driving several vehicles towards the hinterland of the Snow Country. Under the introduction of the third doctor, the director was full of yearning for the land of snow. If so many scenery can be photographed, then this movie will definitely be more popular. As the group set off, the car was bumpy and drove for most of the day. During this time, Shiyu was checking his ice escape. The ice escape ninjutsu analyzed from the 3 snow ninjas, Shiyu actually thinks is very good. Let the great sage make some calculation improvements. Turn these secret techniques of ice escape directly into real ninjutsu ice escape. The newly mastered ice escape ninjutsu are ice escape beluga, ice escape ice prison technique, ice escape icicle, ice escape broken dragon and tiger, ice escape yen shui shui. Shiyu still likes these ice escape ninjutsu. And if there is the blessing of ice escape, the power of the ice and snow world, the power of these ninjutsu will be greatly enhanced. Boom boom. Suddenly there was a roar in the distance. No. Everyone get out of the car. Avalanche. Kakashi's voice sounded, and Shiyu, Naruto, and Sasuke immediately jumped out of the car. Episode 111. Avalanche stops the king of ice and snow. Buzz buzz. When an avalanche struck, Shiyu, Naruto, and Sasuke quickly jumped out of the car and looked at the snow sweeping halfway up the mountain. It is rushing down the mountain crazily. And if the avalanche formed halfway up the mountain reaches the bottom of the mountain, it will turn into an overwhelming and terrifying ice and snow storm. A single glance could easily bury the entire convoy in more than 10 meters of snow. Oops, even Kakashi is a little helpless now. It is easy for him to escape the snow, but what about these ordinary people? It wouldn't be a problem if you only take 1 or 2 away, but the entire fleet consists of 4 or 5 large vehicles. In addition to pulling props and cameras, there are also many crew members. It would be a problem to save all these people. If he had a little more time, Kakashi would be confident of taking these people away. But obviously there was not much time left for him. Naruto, Sasuke, Shiyu, use your clones quickly and take away as many people as you want. Naruto nodded, but there was some worry on his face. There was no problem with using the clone, but apart from the main body, Naruto had no confidence that the clone could ensure everyone's safety. If something goes wrong, it could be fatal. Shiyu, Jun. Seeing the avalanche getting closer, Fanghua Xiaoxue instinctively jumped out of the car and looked at Shiyu aside. Shiyu sighed softly. The avalanche is not scary. What worries Shiyu is whether the avalanche occurs naturally or, what are you doing in a daze, Shiyu? Hurry up and save people. While Kakashi was talking, Shiyu had already asked the great sage to switch to the combat skill page. 2 ice escape skills are hung on the skill bar. Shiyu can now use ice escape without any consumption. If you use your avatar to lead someone to run against the avalanche in front of you, you may have to run several hundred meters to truly avoid it. This distance cannot guarantee everyone's safety 100%. Shiyu turned to look at Kakashi. Leave it to me. Kakashi-sensei. As he spoke, Shiyu walked forward. Shiyu, this is an avalanche. Is there anything Shiyu can do? Use ice escape? Even if Shiyu is a blood-limited ninja of ice escape, here is a world of ice and snow, which has a natural blessing for the use of ice escape. But it is impossible to create a defense to stop an avalanche of this size in a short period of time. Once something goes wrong anywhere, so many people will be buried here. Shiyu, are you sure? Kakashi asked worriedly. At this time, Shiyu looked back at Kakashi and smiled. Of course. Raise your hands to form a seal. Ice escape, freezing moment. When the ice escape was activated, the surrounding temperature dropped rapidly. It even felt obviously much colder than before. Even wearing cotton clothes seemed to be less warm. Then Shiyu raised his head and looked in the direction of the avalanche. Ice escape, ice and snow world. The 2 ice escape ninjutsus were activated, and the world of ice and snow appeared. The direction of the falling snowflakes around them seemed to change in an instant. Some invisible force pulls these snowflakes to gather in the direction of Shiyu. After they gathered around Shiyu, they floated quietly. The ice and snow world controls ice and snow, and the principle is the same as Gaara's sand. So, Shiyu's hands suddenly faced the direction of the avalanche. The veins on his hands popped out. The terrifying chakra pours out crazily, using ice escape without any consumption. Full chakra output. The burst of chakra light, even Kakashi is stunned. The strong chakra fluctuations that kept coming from the air made Kakashi couldn't help but open his mouth and look at Shiyu in surprise. With this amount of chakra released, how much chakra does Shiyu have? I'm afraid even Jinchuriki, who has mastered the tailed beasts, can only do this. As Shiyu's chakra swept and spread, the avalanche in the distance seemed to have some changes. Chakra melts into the snow. Pieces of snowflakes are controlled by Shiyu. As the chakra spreads wider and wider, the avalanche's forward speed becomes slower and slower. After everyone watched the avalanche nervously for 10 seconds, suddenly the avalanche stopped. It stopped abruptly in front of everyone. Stop? The third doctor looked at the snowflakes stopped in the sky in surprise. How could this suddenly stop? The crew members all exclaimed, and the avalanche that was going smoothly suddenly stopped. And it is obvious that it is still in a state of continuous sweeping. Why did it stop immediately? Kakashi looked at Shiyu. Shiyu was controlling such a huge amount of snowflakes with one hand, slowly flowing to the side. Seeing the avalanche moving again, everyone was frightened, but soon found that the snowflakes were slowly drifting directly over their heads. After floating over, they landed gently in the distance and slowly piled up into a small snow mountain. Kakashi felt his mouth was a little dry and swallowed gently. Is the avalanche just gone? This kid Shiyu actually controls snow. Still so much snow. Naruto and Sasuke were both speechless now. Naruto came to Shiyu very excitedly and said, Shiyu, what kind of technique are you doing? the ice escape ninjutsu I developed myself. Can you control this snow? Yes. It's so awesome. Shiyu smiled and said, the true power has not been revealed yet. The real power of the ice and snow world is not just as simple as controlling snowflakes. Sasuke gently clenched his fists. Damn it, I got pushed far away by this guy again. I originally thought that after learning the Chidori, I might be able to catch up, but now it seems that Shiyu is not aware of it at all. After I go back, I must practice harder. I must catch up with this guy. The power of ice escape appeared again, and Fanghua Xiaoxue became more concerned about Shiyu's blood inheritance limit. Such power must be obtained. This kind of power is simply invincible in the land of snow. The third doctor on the side heard what Fanghua Koyuki said. 5.4 was a little confused. The princess wanted to get the power of Konoha shinobi, but how to get it? At this moment, on the top of the mountain, two people were looking at Shiyu and others below, through the crystal. That boy's skills are so strong, he can even control an avalanche. A deep voice sounded, and at the same time, the woman in front of him raised the crystal in her hand. It's no wonder adults care about such a person, but I don't think his power can surpass mine. I am the most suitable. As they spoke, the two turned to look at the other person on the side. Have you thought about it now? The other party was kneeling on the ground, his expression extremely ugly. Looking at the two of them, he gritted his teeth gently. I've thought about it, but I have a request. If you don't agree, I won't hand over what you want even if I die. Episode 112. The incoming red light, wind and waves. How dare you negotiate terms with us? Okay, can you tell me what your conditions are? The person kneeling on the ground is none other than the real ruler of the snow country, stormy and raging. There was still blood at the corner of his mouth. He was supposed to be arrogant, but now he looked at the two people in front of him, with only endless fear in his eyes. The ninjas from the snow country were so powerful that he couldn't fight against them. Fanghua Furumo looked in the direction of Fanghua Koyuki. I don't care if you deal with those Konoha shinobi, but Fanghua Koyuki, you must leave it to me. I understand. Don't worry. We are not interested in your snow country affairs. Hearing this, Fanghua Nu Tao breathed a sigh of relief. He wouldn't want to die like this, but if he lost even the kingdom of snow, what would he do if he was still alive? So this is his final line. Then, let's do it. The scenery here is nice, just bury all these Konoha ninjas here. As for the kid that the adults want, let's take him back, the two said. One of the kunoichi took a step forward, then let me take action first. Another ninja released the Fanghua Furious Wave, and a large group of Fengshua Furious Wave 08 hired snow ninjas behind him also stood up. The number was not too large, but there were hundreds of people. Bring your people and let's do it together. Fanghua Tao nodded. At this time, Shiyu under the snow-capped mountains was still looking around. Although the avalanche disappeared, the feeling of being stared at did not disappear. This feeling made Shiyu feel very uncomfortable. It seems that if you find an opportunity, you have to master the ability of chakra perception. Otherwise, you can vaguely feel that something is wrong every time, but you can't be sure where others are. This feeling is very unpleasant. While Shiyu was looking around, suddenly, an astonishing roar sounded above the snow-capped mountains. Everyone immediately raised their heads and looked in the direction of the sound. A red light shot into the sky. Shiyu stared at the incoming red light. The light reflected by the red figure was so dazzling that it was impossible to see clearly what it was from a distance. But when it was only 30 meters away from Shiyu and others, this time people can barely see clearly. This is crystal. A dragon turned into crystal. It is opening its huge mouth and falling rapidly in the direction of Shiyu and others. Crystal style? Guren? Shiyu's mind suddenly went blank at this moment. Why did Guren suddenly appear? Isn't this the kunoichi under Orochimaru? The other party is now standing on top of the crystal dragon. In the blink of an eye, the crystal dragon will fall, and if the terrifying impact explodes, these ordinary people will be killed. Shiyu. Suddenly, Kakashi's voice sounded, and a cold light burst out in Shiyu's eyes. Fortunately, the technique has not been lifted yet. Shiyu raised his hand and pointed his fingers in the air. In an instant, the surrounding ice and snow seemed to wake up instantly, and white snowflakes gathered straight towards the crystal dragon in the air. The snowflakes swept across with an astonishing chill, trying to cover the crystal dragon instantly. But Crystal is afraid of low temperatures and seems to have no daughter-in-law. And Shiyu suddenly clasped his hands together. The surrounding snowflakes changed direction. In everyone's surprised eyes, it condensed directly into a huge ice wall, wrapping everyone in it. Bang! Buzz buzz. The sound of crystals and ice crystals colliding sounded, and the ground shook crazily. The figure of Guren rose high in the sky. She did not expect that Shiyu could condense ice crystals in such a short period of time to resist her attack. Good. However, she fell aside, and a second person appeared in Tian Kong. Ha ha ha. It's such hard ice, let me smash it. Boom buzz buzz. The terrifying attack hit the ice crystal heavily, and cracks appeared from the ice crystals, and spread rapidly in all directions. Boom. The ice crystals exploded, and the huge falling ice chunks hit the director's car hard. Just when Kakashi was about to save people, Shiyu raised his hand and waved the falling ice directly into snow, which automatically floated around. Looking back, Kakashi looked at Shiyu in surprise. I can quickly switch between ice crystals and snowflakes, Shiyu said simply. At this time, a large group of people fell directly from the gap in the ice crystal. Swish, swish, swish. There were probably hundreds of densely packed ninjas. Naruto and Sasuke also immediately took out their kunai and prepared to fight. Kakashi's face didn't look good either. The avalanche just now was really not an accident. Team 7 is ready to fight. Naruto and Sasuke blocked the director's team behind them. A large group of people slowly retreated under the protection of the two people. Shiyu lifted the ice crystals behind so that they could have a place to escape. Then he glanced at Fanghua Xiaoxue. At this moment, Fanghua Xiaoxue was looking at a figure in the crowd. Following her gaze towards the opposite side, Shiyu also noticed the conspicuous guy. Wind and anger. Xiaoxue's eyes were full of anger. On the other side, Fanghua Nuteo looked at Fanghua Xiaoxue. We meet again, Xiaoxue. Is the outside world still fun? But no matter what the outside world is like, you will still come back after all. As he spoke 110, he looked at Fanghua Xiaoxue with strong murderous intent. Whoosh! The surrounding snowflakes instantly enveloped the wind and waves. Shiyu raised his left hand in the direction of the wind and waves, and the snowflakes surged. At the same time, among the snowflakes that rolled up instantly, ice crystal shurikens appeared, and they all formed the shape of snowflakes, about the size of a palm. It's easy. These snowflakes, as sharp as blades, are cutting crazily around the wind and waves. A series of sparks continued to erupt. Shiyu came to the front of Xiaoxue. Let's go first. This is not the place you should stay. Kakashi was also instructing Naruto and Sasuke to lead these people back first. As Shiyu's ice wall turned into snowflakes and scattered, two black shadows suddenly appeared, came directly to the front. Kakashi was stunned for a moment, staring at the two people who suddenly appeared. The power of these two people is not simple. It is very terrifying. At this moment, Shiyu looked at the two of them and was also very surprised. Honglian stopped talking. The kunoichi under Orochimaru should not be in this place, but the other person, Shiyu, just observed him for a few seconds and seemed to know who he was based on his characteristics. Heavy, Guren and Yugo, how come these two Orochimaru subordinates appeared here, and they seem to be acting together with Fanghua Furodeo. Episode 113. Analysis and calculation of enemies for the first time. Thinking acceleration starts. Great Sage, thinking acceleration has been activated. As the skill is activated, Shiyu's 5 senses are greatly enhanced. At the same time, he also noticed injuries on Fanghua Nutao's body, and this injury was probably caused by Guren and Yugo. These two people came to the country of snow and gave them a violent beating. Orochimaru is not such a boring person. There must be something that attracts Orochimaru. According to Orochimaru's character, what kind of things would make Orochimaru send his men to snatch it? Chakra armor? Shiyu found the answer in just a moment. If there is anything that can attract Orochimaru in a place like Snow Country, then it seems that the only thing is the chakra armor. This seems to make sense, but the main reason why Orochimaru did not participate in the original work is that we don't know. After all, the country of snow has no contact with the outside world, and it is a small and remote country. People from the 5 major countries have no time to pay attention to such a place. So where did Orochimaru get the news this time? As expected of the kid that adults like, he does have potential. The ability to control ice and snow is indeed very good. Hey! Guren, this guy's ice escape seems to be not bad compared to your crystal style. Chongwu crossed his arms, looking like a judge. Guren on the side slowly walked forward. Among the many blood inheritance limits, it can only be regarded as average, but this boy uses this power test very delicately. I have to admit it. The crystal style that can block oneself with ice and snow crystals, the crystal-breaking dragon subduing technique is really good. Listening to the conversation between the two, Shiyu frowned. It seems that they are not just here for the chakra armor of Fanghua Raging Tao. It's just for me. How did Orochimaru know about him? Was it because he completed a task and his reputation spread so quickly? Even a big shot like Orochimaru knew about him? I'm afraid not. Then Orochimaru knew that he might have only one possibility, someone told him. And there is obviously only one person. Danzo. I understand, Danzo told Orochimaru my news, and Orochimaru sent people to deal with me. The chakra armor of Snow Country was just incidental. Is the real target me? The ninjas of Konoha belong to you, but this Fanghua Koyuki is the one I want. I hope you will keep your promise. The storm reminds me from behind. And Zhongwu smiled coldly. Catch the person you want yourself. We are only interested in this brat now. As he spoke, Zongo stared at Shiyu and slowly walked forward. Kakashi looked at Yugo who was about to take action, but Guren on the side locked his aura. These brats are nothing to be afraid of, but you are a bit troublesome. Konoha's copy ninja Hatake Kakashi. Guren seems to be trying to block Kakashi. This is a bit ominous. Naruto, Sasuke, run away with these people. We must protect these people. Hearing this, Sasuke gritted his teeth. Kakashi asked him and Naruto to run away with others, but he did not let Shiyu run away. This meant that the two of them stayed behind to delay time for them. Damn it. Sasuke cursed in displeasure, and then pulled Naruto, who was still standing stupidly. Quick, didn't you hear what Kakashi said? Let's protect these people and go first. But Fanghua Nuteo kept staring at Fanghua Shashue, and when he saw Fanghua Shashue being led away, he immediately ordered the people behind him, chase me, kill all these people, I only want Fanghua Shashue. Ice escape, freeze moment, buzz, Shiyu's voice sounded, and suddenly a fatal chill swept over him. Gathered out of thin air, they directly froze all the hundreds of good people under Fanghua Nuteo. A moment, freeze hundreds of people. Still, even at a distance of tens of meters, people are frozen in the air. Yugo looked at Shiyu very differently with his eyes widened. What a powerful technique, ice release actually has such power. As he spoke, he glanced sideways at Honglian, as if asking Honglian if he could do it. Guren looked at Shiyu with serious eyes. This technique, whether it is the amount of one's own chakra, the control of escape techniques, or the control of chakra, has extremely pervert requirements. My own crystal style cannot do this. Shiyu looked at the wind and flowers that were frozen together. As expected, the sudden wind and waves broke the ice easily. After all, this old guy was wearing the best chakra armor. Damn Konoha brat, you killed all my people. Shiyu was about to speak. What a powerful escape technique, so I can have a good time this time. Suddenly an inexplicable chakra wave erupted, and black lines appeared on Zhongwu's arms. Shiyu immediately cheered up. Sage transformation, or sage transformation. Although this power cannot be called an immortal technique, there is no doubt that the power of the curse seal is also to absorb natural energy. This is Shiyu's dream. Analyze. Analyze it for me quickly, analyze him. Excited Shiyu is now worried that the great sage cannot analyze it, because ordinary curse seal transformation is fine, but this is Chongwu's curse seal transformation. He was born with a special physique. This is equivalent to an upgraded physique, which belongs to the type of blood inheritance limit. I don't know if the great sage can analyze it. Great sage, whether to perform comprehensive analysis and calculation on this target. Yes. This is what he thought silently in his mind, but suddenly Shiyu was stunned for a moment. What does it mean? Performing all-round analytical calculations on the target is not the art of analyzing and calculating the opponent? Great sage, the previous mission is temporarily suspended, and the Shurkai analysis calculation target is launched at full strength. Yugo. By the way, analysis is not only about analyzing ninjutsu, it can also directly analyze money, people, or an object. Shiyu smiled, but he had never tried it before, analyzing the enemy directly. However, this kind of analytical calculation should be more comprehensive than simply analyzing a certain technique. At this time, the storm was passing by quickly. Shiyu looked at the storm that was bypassing him and Kakashi and wanted to pursue it, and was about to stop him, but for a moment, his eyebrows suddenly raised. The next second, Zhongwu rushed over. Boy, let me see what your power is. Shiyu looked back at Yugo. I shrink, ice escape, frozen moment. Freeze. The frost covering Zhongwu's body appeared immediately, but as soon as it appeared, it shattered and drifted away. Powerful chakra erupted from Yugo's body. Can't freeze. Great sage, analysis and calculation failed. Chongwu, 10%. Episode 114. Heavyweight opponent chakra goes berserk. The color of Yugo's right arm that was swinging his fist had already changed in some way. The absorbed natural chakra began to provide him with very terrifying power. Frozen moments cannot be frozen at all. The sound of the opponent rapidly breaking through the air could be heard in his ears. Shiyu raised his hand and countless ice and snow gathered in front of his eyes to form an ice wall. Boom! The ice wall was hit hard. Under the huge force, Shiyu was stunned for a second, and the ice wall was directly breached. I thought it was enough to resist, but Shiyu didn't expect that Yugo's power would be so pervert. However, when Shiyu was thinking about speeding up, he turned around and dodged, avoiding Yugo's attack. The chakra transformed from the curse seal is also a type of senjutsu chakra. Although the curse seal on the sound ninja is definitely much worse than the senjutsu, the power of Yugo's own curse seal is not necessarily weaker than the senjutsu. After all, the power of the curse seal is the power that Orochimaru researched and developed from Yugo. Ha 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 ha. Good reaction, you managed to dodge my attack, but your ice is too brittle. It's not enough to block my fist. Boy, bang bang. Turning around and taking a step, Yugo rushed towards Shiyu again, and at the same time, the chakra on his body burst out from the pores of his body like steam erupting. This guy's use of chakra is simple and crude, without any excessive cover-up or any extra skills. 717 Only people who can absorb natural energy anytime and anywhere can use chakra so arrogantly. Shiyu controlled the ice and snow, and a large amount of chakra swept out and merged into the ice and snow. Ice spike. Controlling the ice and snow, sharp ice spikes were formed around the body in the blink of an eye. The strength of the ice crystals also depends on the amount of chakra injected. Now Shiyu didn't dare to be careless. A large number of ice spikes formed by chakra were shot straight towards Zhongwu with a wave of Shiyu's hand. Yugo didn't care at all about Shiyu's attack, and the next question came up in seconds. When Zhongwu's shoulder was pierced, cold air poured into Zhongwu's body, and a look of astonishment flashed in Zhongwu's eyes. The ice spikes that followed almost completely enveloped his whole body. Bang bang bang. There was a series of piercing sounds. The ice spikes that did not hit Zhongwu flew past, and even the boulder was instantly pierced. Shiyu looked at Yugo, who was stuck like a hedgehog. Facing his own ice escape attack, he actually rushed towards me without evading or dodging. It seems that Yugo's brain is not very good. Guren, who was confronting Kakashi on the side, noticed the movement here. Aide was very surprised. Yes, the strength of the ice crystals has increased again because more chakra luck has been injected into it. From this point of view, this boy's ice escape has great potential for development. Who are you? Why do you target us Konoha ninjas? Kakashi's voice sounded, and Guren had no time to continue paying attention to Yugo's movements, but was about to turn around and focus on dealing with Kakashi. As for Yugo, Guren thinks there is no need to worry too much. Hole. You actually hurt me. Bang buzz. Bang bang bang. The sudden chakra eruption directly caused the terrifying chakra fluctuations to reverberate crazily in the valley, and there were faint signs of directly setting off an avalanche. In front of Shiyu, all the ice spikes on Yugo's body were blown away. At this time, Jongo's body is changing rapidly. This is the complete activation of Sage Transformation, which is Jongo's Sage Transformation. The skin all over his body began to change, and at the same time, some kind of chakra jets seemed to grow on his hands and back. The excess chakra is being sprayed out continuously. Very good. If you dare to hurt me, then it will be my turn. Haha, bang bang. Zhongwu, who has completely transformed into a curse, has once again increased his strength and speed by more than one level. Shiyu's face was solemn, and he glanced at the progress of the great sage's analysis and calculation. Is it only 20%? Why is this calculation so slow? Yugo sprayed chakra and charged forward, followed by the wolf's fist. Shiyu controlled the ice and snow to block the front, condensing into an ice crystal shield. But without any surprise, they were all easily broken, and the cold air released by the broken ice crystals was completely unable to penetrate into Chongo's body. The violent curse-sealed chakra makes the cold air have no effect at all. Shiyu jumped up to avoid the attack, but Yugo suddenly accelerated, and his consecutive punches were as fast as lightning. The speed and force of this attack wouldn't be good if you were hit. Shiyu pulled out Zangetsu with his backhand. He instantly swung his sword in the air and slashed several times at Zongo's fist. Dang dang dang. The sharp ninja sword was unable to cut through Yugo's fist. Instead, the shockwave erupted when the two collided directly spread out, and Shiyu was thrown away. Although Shiyu landed firmly, Yugo didn't give Shiyu any time to breathe and rushed up again. Holding Zangetsu, Shiyu sighed helplessly. How long will it take for the Great Sage to complete the analysis and calculation? Great Sage, estimated time is 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Okay, just 3 minutes. Fight this guy for another 3 minutes. Shiyu's eyes narrowed slightly. Let's compete in strength. Boil style, unparalleled power. Boom. Shiyu's body also burst out with amazing steam, and the next second the two began to collide rapidly. The roar echoed continuously in the snow Yamanaka. Kakashi, who was trapped by crystal style in the distance, looked in the direction of Shiyu. This is. Waves of heat swept over him, and Kakashi was a little confused as to whether this was the enemy's power or Shiyu's power. That guy seemed to have amazing strength, and Shiyu was suddenly able to burst out with power that rivaled the opponent. This is incredible. Ha ha ha. So cool. This is the first time I've met someone else who can fight with me to this extent. You're very good, kid. Zhongwu's fists kept hitting and rubbing, and the terrifying chakra kept erupting. Shiyu ignored Yugo and exhaled silently. Although the explosive power of boil style is very strong, it also consumes chakra. The speed at which this chakra is consumed is no joke. Current analysis calculation progress, 85%. There is less than a minute left for the analytical calculation to be completed. Since you are so strong, let's see if you can block this move. Suddenly, the chakra began to gather. Chakra began to accumulate in Jongo's body, and the cells in his hands began to change. Boom. Yugo exploded again and rushed directly towards Shiyu. The moment he got close to Shiyu, the cells in his body changed wildly. The cells spread and appeared from behind, forming a huge barrel directly towards Shiyu's face. Zhongwu showed a crazy smile. Go to hell, boy. Episode 115. Analytical calculation completes the ultimate blow. Close your face and open it up. Shiyu didn't expect that this Chongo would choose such a crazy fighting method. At the same time, he reached out and grabbed Shiyu's shoulder. This was not intended at all for Shiyu to avoid. Hee hee. Want to escape? I won't give you this chance. Go to hell. The chakra cannon has been charged up, and the smile in Yugo's eyes is even stronger. At this time, Honglian also noticed the situation here. Idiot. Has this guy forgotten that this kid is the one the adults want to take back? Guren didn't expect that the rampaging Yugo actually planned to kill Shiyu directly, and Kakashi, who was trapped by crystal style, also noticed. Oops. Shiyu can't hide now. Raikiri. He wanted to use Raikiri to destroy crystal style, but even if he destroyed the crystal style that trapped him, he was too late to rush over and save Shiyu at this moment. Boom! Suddenly, the chakra cannon exploded, and the terrifying attack power directly caused the ground to suddenly explode. The ripples that swept through the air even instantly shattered the crystal that trapped Kakashi. As soon as he came out, Kakashi approached Shiyu. Shiyu, there was a roar like thunder. Kakashi looked at the huge crater that was blasted out in the distance. His eyes were filled with shock as he felt the chakra fluctuations of Yugo not far away. Such a strong chakra. Even if he faces such an opponent, I'm afraid it won't be that easy to deal with. Wow! Suddenly, a stream of water swept out, quickly drawing an arc in the air, and recondensed Shiyu's figure in another direction. Shiyu dragged the ninja sword Zangetsu, and after the body was condensed, he slowly walked towards Yugo's direction. And Zhongwu looked at Shiyu very differently. Escaped? How did you avoid it? At that moment, under the dazzling light of the chakra cannon, he didn't see what Shiyu did at all. And now Shiyu reappears in front of him unscathed. Shiyu said nothing, just watching the countdown silently. Estimated analysis calculation time, 10 seconds. There are only 10 seconds left. But even so, Shiyu didn't intend to just wait 10 seconds. If it weren't for the water-style water instant technique, I'm afraid I would have been seriously injured by now. Even dead. Facing death face to face for the first time, Shiyu is in a very bad mood now. A faint cold light flashed on the Zangetsu blade in his hand, and Shiyu's eyes also burst with unprecedented killing intent. Want to know? Then experience it for yourself. Water-style water instant body. Whoosh! In a sudden moment, Shiyu's body turned into water and divided into 5-6 paths water lines in the air, sweeping across the air. Then, in the stunned eyes of Kakashi, Guren, and Yugo, Shiyu's body appeared in front of Yugo. The water flow condensed and the body was not even fully formed. The blade in Shiyu's hand had already been slashed out. Breath of water. Riku type twist Uzumaki. Boom boom boom. Shiyu's body turned rapidly in the air, and the water flow formed by the blade was flowing rapidly. The cutting force generated by the high-speed flowing water directly tore several bloody holes in Yugo's hand. However, Shiyu didn't stop. While using water breathing, Shiyu used the water blink technique again. The body turned into water and passed through the water that had appeared, and quickly came behind Zhongwu. Type of Chi-Ji ripple strike. The knife stabbed Zhongwu's back straight, and with the blessing of the water flow, it penetrated Zhongwu's skin directly into his flesh and blood. Shiyu looked at Yugo, who was confused and a little unable to react. Now feeling the pain caused by the cutting of the blade, Zhongwu's face became a little pale. Water instantly. Shiyu turned into water and moved rapidly again and came to the side of Yugo. This time, Yugo suddenly turned his head to look at Shiyu. At the moment when Shiyu's body condensed, chakra was sprayed out from the palm of his right hand. The cells in the elbow condensed into the shape of a heavy hammer. Using the acceleration of the chakra jet, the blow came directly towards Shiyu's face. At this moment, Shiyu gritted his teeth and evaded, but it was too late for Shuedo Shuei's continuous teleportation. Shiyu prepares to use boil style and faces off against Yugo again. Analytical calculation completed. Thinking speeds up and gains analytical calculation bonus. At this moment, many new things appeared in front of Shiyu's eyes. For example, Shiyu seems to have seen the approximate extent of damage Yugo's attack can cause to him. 0. Please give me flowers. At the same time, various pictures appeared, all showing how to deal with Zhongwu's attack. However, there are a lot of scenes at the beginning, but each scene seems to have enough time for Shiyu to watch. But then the picture gradually decreased, and finally a picture appeared. Shiyu was shocked by the coping methods shown above. A slash of the knife is aimed at the key point on Yugo's arm. A cut with the knife will not only cut off Yugo's tendons directly, but it can also directly injure the opponent with a follow-up strike. The whole process doesn't even require the use of chakra much. Is this what it will look like after the enemy is completely analyzed and calculated? This is too terrible. Kill with one move. Shiyu's eyes sparkled, and Kakashi was worried when he saw Yugo seizing the moment Shiyu appeared and launching an attack. Shiyu's black sword directly passed through Yugo's arm joint with great lightness. The accumulation of chakra greatly reduced his defense. Cutting off the tendon with a knife, Yugo's attack immediately stopped. The moment Yugo looked at Shiyu with wide eyes, Shiyu's figure tilted slightly, holding the sword in one hand and bowing slightly. Eyes locked on Yugo's chest. Tear. The knife penetrated straight through the heart. The water-style chakra bursting from the tip of the knife enhances the piercing ability. Shiyu seals with one hand. Water-style, flowing water blade. The flowing water blade blessed the ninja sword, and this blow stunned Yugo. What a subtle attack. To be able to react in such a short period of time. Yugo looked at Shiyu and the look in his eyes gradually dissipated, slowly falling towards the back. While Shiyu was still dazed, Guren appeared and took Yugo with him and fled away. Shiyu did not pursue, but carefully felt the feeling just now. The feeling of being able to control every move of the enemy and killing the enemy with the weakest force is great. Is this the case when the great sage is used in battle? Congratulations to the host for completely analyzing the character Chongwu and acquiring the new skill Natural Energy Absorption. Natural Energy. Shiyu's eyes widened and a smile appeared on his face. Finally here, fan.